We are live. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I'll give it a second to allow you guys to come on in. Allow Des to be here. Ah, she's here. Yes. See, I started right on time just for you. Amazing. All right, let's get her in here. I'm so excited. Did that work? Okay.
It worked.
Yay! We did it. We're here.
Hello, darling.
Hi, honey bunch.
Hey. Ooh, let's see. Let's see what's going on with these filters.
Yes, check them out. Give people a second to roll on in. I was
Yeah.
like, let me be early, but early means being on time.
Yes. How are you feeling today?
Feeling great. I got up early. I went for a run,
Okay now.
did some yoga,
All right.
meditating, reading. Like I got to go through my rising ritual, so that put me in a good
Mm,
space.
definitely. That
Yeah.
will
How are you
always do it.
feeling?
I am well.
Yeah.
Had a lot of meetings and things going on today, but otherwise I feel great and the meetings are all opportunities, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good. Oh, I like that filter with the
right?
sparkles.
It's a good one. It's my favorite
Yes.
one.
Nice. I've never used that one. I gotta try that one.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Okay. All right. There's a little bit of lag time. I don't know why that
Oh,
is with your oh,
hmm.
now it's back. Now you're
It's
back.
back.
Yeah. Now you're
Okay.
back. Awesome. All
Awesome.
right. So we're here. We
Yes.
are doing part one of the Mind, Body, Spirit Healing little IGTV mini series. I'm here with the doula you desire, Desiree. So I wanted to start with just say a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to say. Just make this casual chat, kind of like how we did before, just like bringing up some points and just raising awareness. So the point of this is just to raise awareness so people are more cognizant of how they're taking care and connecting with themselves and their bodies and their minds. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you want to say a little bit.
absolutely. Hello, everyone. I am Desiree, and yes, both Janine and I have
Dental
beautiful teeth.
purity. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I am Desiree. I am a holistic doula. I am also a yogi and meditation teacher, as well as a holistic wellness consultant. And so my entire life is about being well, guiding other people to their own wellness in whatever facet that may be in. And so that could be in nutrition, that could be in womb wellness, that can be in thoughts and thought patterns, that could be in sex, that could be in just a wide variety, spiritual connection, you know. And so my role in this life is really to serve as a guide for other people to find their own true self, their own wellness, spirit, love. And so that's why I am here on this earth. And yes, we will be talking more about the mind, body, spirit healing. It's very important to me that I like talk about the full body experience, the full mental experience, and the full spirit experience because there's no way that we can disconnect the triad. There's no way, right? What's happening in our mind is affecting our body. What's happening in our spirit is affecting our body. What happens in our body is affecting all of the other two parts. And so it's always important that we connect them. I think in Western medicine, sometimes there is a disconnect that, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you know, this person is having issues within their womb. Let's just put them on medicine. Like, well, what else is going on? And so I like to get through to the root cause before we can diagnose, provide medication, or anything of the nature. Let's go deeper and find out
Yeah.
what's really happening.
Love it. Love it. Yes.
Yes.
Everything you just
Yes.
said, just highlighting all of that. And it's always like they just want to put a band-aid on it and let's address
Mm-hmm.
the issue on the surface level and make sure, you stay here and it doesn't get any worse. But underneath all of that, it is getting worse and it is building up. So we have to
Yeah,
get all the way to the root in order to heal these things and solve these issues within ourselves.
exactly.
Yeah, and we're all connected. We're all one. So it's like whatever is affecting so many people is going to be affecting all
Uh-oh.
of us. Oh, are we back? Are we back? What's happening?
Yes, we're back.
Don't mess with us. Like,
IG,
trying to.
don't let me give you a knuckle sandwich.
IG's like, they're talking about healthy stuff? No, no, no. Cut this off.
Right.
Cut this off.
Cut it
It's too
out.
educational. All right. Oh
Yes.
yes. Look at all these lovely people here today.
Yes. Hello, gorgeous people.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. So for the part one, it's basically going into it. It's how you're sick before you're sick, right? Getting back into wellness in terms of developing a healing practice um, before the physical symptoms show up, developing something for yourself that helps you feel whole and healed and full of energy and joy and peace and love, and just cultivating that within yourself before anything else happens. You know, always finding that base of stability and that base of like equilibrium to come back to for your
Yeah.
body, for your mind, for your spirit. So
Yeah.
knowing what ails us is going to be the first thing, like the first step. That's where we're going to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to your point just now, I think that we all know when we are not doing what we're supposed to do, that we're way more susceptible to inviting this dis-ease within our body, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
we are, drinking a lot more, gossiping a lot more, not feeding our body nutritious foods, that breeds an environment that is going to really, really allow viruses, bacteria, disease to come into the body and take you down. But if we have a body that is
Mm-hmm.
more towards our equilibrium, that is full of life, that is full of positive thoughts, that is full of healing and helpfulness and happiness, that does not breed viruses in the same way and in the same capacity. And so I think it is very important to note that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's like setting up a blockchain, and then if
Yeah,
anything is like out of place, every like it's so much more susceptible to being crumbled or being crushed down. So you
yeah,
have to make sure that everything in yourself, in your body is aligned,
exactly. At least
right?
within our control. Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah.
exactly. Um, yeah, so there's a couple, I found this article that was amazing, and it was like going through the emotional causes of physical pain. So going through like the underlying things before the
Mm,
physical pain shows up. And it would list like the body part and then, you know, the physical pain that usually comes with that body part, or a
mm,
common disease, you know, like cancer or heart attacks or anything like that. And then it gave an affirmation for that, like to heal
mm.
that. And I was like, okay, great.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
there was an entirely long list. I just noted five that I feel like are pretty common in our society today.
yeah.
So I can, you know, share those with you.
Please
And
do.
I'm gonna send you the link also. I think you'd find the like all of them really interesting
I'm sure.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hit
So,
us.
and the before that, the questions that I thought were also really great, I think were in the article too. It's just like first, like knowing what ails us, and then asking what the significance of the presence of this ailment is, or this dis-ease. Right? You
Mm-hmm.
feel at ease, everything's okay, but then a dis-ease shows up, and you have to ask yourself, like, why is this showing up right now? What is the significance of this in my life? And what's the emotional cause behind that? You know,
Mm,
like what's the underlying cause behind that? Because it's usually things we're avoiding, it's usually things we're afraid to address. Um, and I mean, it's usually fear, you know, it's some
yeah,
type of fear based mentality that we, you know, have held on to since childhood, you know, have to hold on to these fears in order to remind ourselves constantly of them so it
right,
can keep us safe.
right.
But but it's like a catch 22, because that reminder and living in that fear based energy is what is going to break you down essentially from the
Yeah.
inside.
And keep us in that cycle.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, but I wanted to ask you if you've noticed any correlation between your own like physical ailments when something is off emotionally.
Oh
Have
yeah.
you ever experienced that? Can you give
Yeah.
us like
Yeah,
an example of it?
definitely. I think an example of that would be, let's say, like womb health, right?
Mm,
And so I know if I am not on my particular regimen, and if I am not doing the particular protocols, if I'm not releasing particular energies that I have stored within my body,
mm,
right?
mm-hmm,
If I had a experience that I rather forget, right? You
mm-hmm,
know, all of these things show up within the pain within the womb, right? And so a lot of times we don't talk about that because we do store trauma in our womb. And
yes, we
so
do.
um, if we are not doing the work associated with that, it's going to show up. And that's why we see a lot of the fibroids, the ovarian cysts, and the pain that we experience in our monthly cycles is for a myriad of reasons, but also definitely the trauma, definitely the fears, definitely the thoughts of like, oh, I wish someone loved me more, or I wish this situation was different, or whatever the case may be. All of that shows up in our bodies. If we are
Mm,
like harboring particular feelings, if we're like, I'll never have a child, or I'll never, build this foundation with this person, or whatever like disparaging
mm.
thoughts we're keeping in our minds and playing over and over again, it shows up,
Yeah, those
right?
negative thought
These
patterns.
negative thought patterns show up within the womb. And
Mm,
especially, like, oftentimes we'll see with fertility, is that a woman may be trying to become pregnant so much over years and years and years and years, and then she never can get pregnant. And then she goes off, she leaves her husband or partner, and she goes off and she becomes pregnant, almost like that. Why?
mm,
Because she did not feel safe. She did
mm.
not feel like she had trust within her partner, right?
Ooh,
And so that is
ooh,
showing up
mm,
in the body.
mm-hmm.
And so it's the unspoken thoughts that we have that is showing up. It's the things that we're like hush hush about, that we won't even
Mm-hmm.
tell our journal, that we won't even tell our diary. Those things show
Yeah,
up in the body because we've
yeah.
already manifested it in our minds.
And we need to get them out. These are the kinds of
Yeah,
conversations that we need to actually be having to get it out, to normalize having these conversations of all these things that are ailing us that we don't talk about, that we hide, that we suppress, that like
exactly.
churn in your body, because your body can, hear your thoughts and,
Yeah,
all your emotions are, every single cell in your body is paying attention to what you're thinking, what you're
everything.
saying, what you're doing. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
all affected. It's all connected.
100% connected. And I think oftentimes most people are not grounded in the fact that then nobody's walking around thinking about they have cells that are being affected by environment thoughts.
Hmm.
Nobody's thinking about that except for us because we're like weird like that. But
Yes, I love it. I love it.
yeah, I love it. But if people aren't thinking about that, then they have no reason to ground themselves to think about, what do my cells need? What do I need to be feeding my cells that are feeding the overall body and like the human form of us? So
Mm,
we definitely need to start thinking about that, asking ourselves questions. What do we need to release? What are affirmations that we need to bring to the space
hmm.
that are going to breed our desired like experiences?
Yeah.
Because I think it's very necessary, and having those kind of conversations. I actually just had a call with someone just now, and I'm like, we have to go to those places. If we
Mm,
do not go to those places, we're going to have a really difficult time. And so we have to speak on the unspeakable. The unspeakable
hmm.
is ruling our lives and we don't even know it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that's like really important to understand, and the truth, living our truths, no matter what our truths are, we have to live in them.
Yeah. And accept them and
Hmm.
and also realize that they don't have to look a certain way or sound a certain way. If it's true for you, then
Yeah,
that's the way that you should be living, you know?
exactly.
And I think that is like speaking the unspeakable. Like that's where the sick before you're sick comes in. It's just like
Exactly.
hiding and suppressing and trying to like sweep everything under the rug. That's
Hmm.
when the sickness builds up.
Yeah, just
And
like,
you're, yeah, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. But what I would say is like sometimes we have this pattern of saying, well, my grandma had diabetes, or my, uncle had high blood pressure. And so it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like inevitable that I'll have it. And so we create this mantra in our minds of like, diabetes is going to come, high blood pressure is going to come, heart disease
Mm-hmm.
is going to come. And so we create that in our mind, and we
Mm-hmm.
begin to believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
So what
mentally and
happens
emotionally perpetuating
mentally and
that
emotionally,
cycle.
exactly, is completely perpetuating that, and it's feeding our mind that message. Is that the
Mhm.
message that you want to feed your body? Not me,
Nope, not at
not
all.
me.
No, thank you. No, thank
So,
you.
exactly. So, if we have a mantra that more so says, I am well, I work towards wellness, I speak wellness, I am of wellness, that is a completely different mindset to create an environment that we want.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that is something to highlight as well, because
Yeah.
there's so many people who just like, well, Grandpa Dale had, his left foot cut off. It's like, that's so
Because it's easier
preventable.
for them to just like sit back and accept that this is the inevitable. Like I don't have to take responsibility and I don't have to work against this. Like this is just
Hmm.
what's going to happen, and I just have to accept that. When we don't have to accept any of this,
You know,
you just do a little bit of work. You just take note, become aware of it, and then just live your life in a way that you want. Because I'm sure that's not something that you want to happen to you.
mm-mm.
So why then just accept that?
Exactly. Yeah, we're
And the
way more
example you
powerful.
brought up,
Hmm.
yes, that what you were just going to say, that we're way more powerful than we realize, but we don't
Hmm.
want to take responsibility for that power.
Exactly.
And was it in Spider-Man when he was like, with great power comes great responsibility? And it's
Yes.
like, ooh, well, do I really want it
Do I
then?
want the responsibility? Because then
Mm-hmm.
you have to wake up and do your prayer. You have to wake up and do your meditation. You have to eat
Mm-hmm.
well. You have
Yeah.
to buy
And
organic.
then when you don't, it's going to hit you that much harder because you're
Hmm.
aware of
You're
it, and it's
aware.
going to feel that much stronger. Yeah, and I love the example that you brought up because it's the full moon now, and my cycle synced up with the moon, and
Yes.
I felt it. I was afraid because I know that I was off with my routine and my
Hmm.
like the procedures that I go through to
Hmm.
like keep myself healthy. So
Yes.
there was alcohol involved and like eating cheese, which I don't usually do,
I know.
and just eat not eating the best and being lazy about it. And I know that because I'm off and not doing all those things and not moving my body and
Hmm.
connecting with myself through journaling and meditation every day, that the cramps were going to be a little bit worse
Yeah.
because I was off. Like I
Yeah.
knew that was coming up for me.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they have one here for cramps too, which is
Oh, what does it say?
so it says cramps means tension, fear, gripping, or holding
Mm.
on.
Mm.
And I was like, "Ooh, I feel that." Because when the cramp comes and you're just like you tense up your body because you want to like kind of mitigate the pain, but that
Hmm.
doesn't
It's
work or makes
actually
it
the
worse.
opposite. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
called the
yeah.
pain, tension, fear cycle. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. So I've been learning to like, I guess over the past year, just to breathe with the cramps
Hmm.
and stay with my body and be like, I feel you and I'm with you and we're going through this together and I'm not going to abandon you by taking painkillers and,
Hmm.
drowning you out or sweeping you under the rug or suppressing
Exactly.
you. Like I'm here with this. And what
Hmm.
is this trying to tell me or teach me?
Exactly.
Um, and the affirmation is I relax and allow my mind to be peaceful.
Mm.
It's like, okay,
I
I
relax
relax and allow my
and allow
mind
my
to be
mind to be.
peaceful. Yeah,
That's a good one.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, so the five that I came up with, I want to run through those real quick and then we can
Yes.
do a little wrap up.
Yeah.
So the first one, so these are just five emotional causes of physical pain. And I just chose five because there's so many and they go through each letter. Like each
Mm.
letter has a bunch. So the first one is addictions,
Mm.
which means that you're running away from yourself, which I feel like a lot of people struggle with addictions. It might not be like a drug addiction or like,
Yeah. Or
you're addicted
social
to,
media.
right. Yeah. There's a lot of addictions that you might not even realize that you have.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so it's not facing the fear, running away from yourself, and not knowing how to love the self.
Mm.
So you find something to fill the void of
Feel it.
not having all that and not feeling like you know how to love yourself.
I
And
will
the
say,
affirmation,
oh,
huh? Go ahead.
oh, I will say in regards to that, it's true because I do know when I was in a like a very, very long-term relationship, and when that ended, I started like waking up and picking up the phone. Why? Because I was so used to waking up and like talking to a person for like 10 years.
Mm,
So then I had to fill a void to say, oh, well, I'm waking up. Now what do I do? And so that's
mm.
when this idea of like, let me pick up the phone and like, and so that happens,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. You want to fill that void.
Hmm.
You want to run away from yourself instead of sitting with yourself, which is so common. Like a lot of people do it. I still do it. It's something that I've
Hmm.
been working on like actively is to not like latch on to these things that are going to bring me away from myself, and
Hmm.
things that I need to address within myself.
Yeah.
And it's still a pretty new journey for me. Like I only started about a little over 2 years ago, and just like paying attention and being like, what do you want? What do you want this life experience like to look like for yourself?
Hmm.
Instead of, people pleasing or doing things for others or with others in mind, or
Right.
not to be judged by others and making it about the external world. Like, what do you want your internal world to look like and feel
Hmm.
like and be
Yeah.
like, you know? So the affirmation is I now discover how wonderful I am. I choose love and joy. I choose to love and enjoy myself. I
Yeah.
now discover how wonderful I am. I choose to love and enjoy myself.
I like that one.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that on the wall.
That is one for the wall for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The second one I chose, and then you can chime in like at any point. Just
Okay.
jump in there. The second one I chose was about the back because the back is about like life, like getting support in life.
You just reminded me.
Um,
Let me
Fix your posture, sit up
posture.
straight. It's
Yes.
so important. Just align your spine. It also helps your
Yes.
organs
It
like figure out
does.
where they actually need
It
to be
does.
working correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stacking each vertebrae on top of each other is like for like optimal organ health.
Definitely. So I chose the upper back, which means when there's an issue with this, it's a lack of emotional support or
Mm-hmm.
feeling unloved. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's so much tension like up here in our upper back.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times I find myself like rolling my shoulders back and
Yeah.
just kind of release that
Release.
back there. But yeah, lack of emotional support or feeling unloved, which we
Mm,
can all relate to.
that's right.
Um, And the affirmation is I love and approve of myself. Life supports and loves me.
Mm. I
Yeah.
love and approve of myself. Life what?
Life supports and loves me.
Life supports and loves me. For sure.
Yes. It's just like we need whole, like total body affirmations to go through,
Absolutely. Yeah,
all
and
the
then
time,
waking
every
up and
day.
doing like body scans, like, and not only just body scans, but also inviting gratitude and appreciation into the
For your
body
body.
scan.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when you
Yeah.
think about it, most people aren't thinking about, whoa, I have a like middle toe, right? But it's like, how amazing is it that I have a middle toe and a pinky and like organs that are
Mm-hmm.
working that we don't have to say anything about? It's like
Mm.
innately intelligent.
Right.
So, going through these body scans and going through our body to say, um, I love you, I appreciate you, I'm honored to like be in this physical space with you. Is
We're yeah, we're
yeah,
so bombarded with messages of the opposite of that. It's like don't connect
exactly.
with yourself. Connect
Hmm.
with this. This is what you should feel like. This is what you should look like. And if you want
Exactly.
to hide or cover up anything that, is imperfect in your body or doesn't look the way that we think it should look, then you need to take these things and, kind of just it just disconnects you to your body like so much so, and so
It
it's harder
does.
to find our way back. But body scanning is just such a simple, quick, and easy way to just connect with your body scanning with gratitude. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
also just identifying where does the body feel tension in this moment. So right now in my body, I feel tension on my left ankle and my left upper mid back, right? And so
Mm.
that's telling me
Mm-hmm.
something,
Mm-hmm.
you
But
know?
that's even amazing that you can be so in tune with your body to be able to tell so quickly, because a lot of
Oh
people can't.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I am always paying attention. I'm actually hyper observant, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the day. But
Mm-hmm.
um, so yes, it is really important to be able to go to those places. And it takes practice. You know, a lot of times people are like, how do you know what your left middle toe crease feels like at this very moment? Like, it's
Yeah.
practice. This is years of time. And so just honoring where you are in this particular moment. If you can't feel that in your body, it doesn't mean that you won't feel it later on. It just takes a
Mhm.
little bit of practice, but you can absolutely get there. And
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let the fact that you're not able to do that right now deter you from starting your practice. Like
exactly.
start really small. Literally just sitting up tall, closing your eyes and just going through from head to toe how it feels in your body, where you feel
Hmm.
tension, where you feel tightness,
Hmm.
or maybe where you don't feel, where you feel
Exactly.
numbness. That could also be a sign.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
just
point.
because your body's always speaking to you, you just got to listen. You just have
Hmm.
to sit and stop and listen, which is really hard for us to stop because we feel like we need to be always be going, 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 doing all these things. And they set it up like that so that you disconnect with yourself because you're always going and you don't take
Exactly.
a moment to pause. I like to call it a sacred pause, like just to
Mm.
stop and check in and just be like, all right, how are you feeling right now in this moment? Just check in with yourself. And your body, your mind, your spirit will appreciate that. It's like, okay, she does care about me.
Exactly.
All right, we are connected. Okay, we're in this together. I feel
We
better.
here. I
Yeah,
see you.
right? I
We
see
see
you. I
each
feel
other.
you.
We see
Exactly.
each
That's the type of relationship that we need to build with our bodies, with
other. Hmm.
ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if we think about it, our bodies are just purely a manifestation of our spiritual being, is a manifestation of our
Mm.
mental being.
Say that again. Say it
Okay,
again.
our bodies are a physical manifestation of what is happening in our mind and our spirits.
Hmm.
Okay, there are people who, if they are not with child, but if they believe that they are with child, their stomachs will begin to grow, their wombs will begin to grow. That's how powerful our mind is,
Mm.
right? And so people
Hmm.
with multiple personality disorder, which is actually now called dissociative DID, I can't remember what the I stands for, identity disorder.
Dissociative identity. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
So in one part of their body, they can be allergic to something. I mean, in one part of themselves, they can be allergic to something, and then the other identity of them is not allergic to that thing.
Yeah, that's
That's how
crazy. That's so
powerful the
amazing.
mind is. Okay? So I really want people to understand that the things that we say, the experience that we tell ourselves that we can attain is important. And this
Mm-hmm.
is like what we need to lean into,
Mm-hmm.
for
And
sure.
it starts with your beliefs,
It
your
does.
mentality, your mindset, all of that. Your words, the words that you're telling yourself, especially, because those are the most important words. It's all going to start there.
It
And
does.
we're so used to looking for solutions and help in the external, but it all starts internally.
That's right.
Um, yeah. So there's three more.
Yes.
Sorry, we're on number three. So trying to go through these. Another one I think is constipation,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a refusing to release old ideas, which we
Mm.
all suffer from. Like refusing to release old ideas, right?
Mm.
The ones that are no longer serving you, the ones that are keeping you in the state that you are right now. Like you're holding on to things that need to be let go.
That's true.
Yeah.
And this is the energy of the full moon right now, folks. So that means that this is an excellent opportunity to release what no longer
Hmm.
serves you.
Let it go.
Let it
Let
go.
it go.
Let it go.
Just let it all go. Seriously. And every full moon, I do that. I make that list of things that I feel like I'm still holding on to and that are
Mm-hmm.
standing in my way. And they might not necessarily show up. I mean, they won't show up obviously, like they'll show up in little ways, little
Mm-hmm.
subtle ways. So just taking a moment to think about that and connect with that and just write it down. Like, whatever you feel like you need to release, I usually burn the piece of paper
Yeah.
afterwards or just rip it up, and then kind of just meditate on it and like
Yep.
actually meditate into that release. So
Mm-hmm.
really let it go. Because we talk about release a lot, and I feel like a lot of people are like, yeah, I released this, I released that, but they don't really release it because that
Mm-hmm.
fear is like your ego is like, no, no, this is our story, and we need to hold on
Mm.
to this story because this story is going to keep us safe, and this story is familiar, and it's what we know,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to hold on to that so we have something to recognize when it shows up. Ooh, ooh, it's paused. Okay, are we back?
I'm back.
Okay, we're back. Okay. Good. Yeah, so letting that go. So the affirmation is, as I release the past, the new and fresh and vital enter. I allow life to flow through me.
Mm, that's true. The new, the fresh, and the vital. That's very
Mm-hmm.
important. Yeah, I was just doing that last night of like, what do I need to release in this particular like field in my life? And I just like wrote these things down and they truly don't serve me in this particular moment. And so release that because it's not vital and
Mm-hmm.
bringing in all the lovely, wonderful things that, these next few months, year
Yes,
is
they
about.
coming.
Yeah.
They're coming. They're coming. Right? And if you don't release and make space for it, they'll come and
Exactly.
they'll be like, there's no room for
There's
me
no room
here.
for
So
me.
I
Right.
can't get in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, that's a great point because something that I'm heavily working on this year is releasing all the knowledge that I have in my head. There's so much, I mean, there's massive amounts of information in my head, to be honest. And I
Mm.
need to like get it out of my head to make room for the information that I need to go into this next level of my life, the next like spiritual journey that I need to go on, the next
Mm.
level of like information,
Yeah.
because it's right now it's just too much information in here. So I'm all about like releasing all of this so that my next level of information can come in.
Yes. Get
Make
it out.
space,
Get it
make
out.
space, make space.
Yes. We need this. We need this information from you. Share it with us.
Yes, and your information as well.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I'm working on that too, getting it out. It's like it's building up the courage to
Mm-hmm.
release it and let it go.
Yeah.
And also I learned through the process of release that it's not just like, because I thought it was like, oh, I wrote down the list and I burned it. Everything's gone. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I forget that it's a practice. Like release is also a practice. It's not a one and done type of thing. You
Yeah.
have to continually work on and do these things, you know, just like the cycle of thoughts are in your head, like there's like a cycle of releasing where you just continue doing the releasing, continue doing that.
Same
Um,
with healing, really.
yeah,
Healing, I
yeah.
think a lot of folks in this like Western medicine society, people are like, one and done, I
I'm
took
healed.
this, I'm
Right.
healed, I never have to think about it again. It's like, no, bro, that's not how it goes. It's constant. Why? Because our cells are constantly regenerating, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have certain cells that are regenerating like every few hours. There are cells that are regenerating every few days. There are cells that are regenerating every few years. And so we are constantly needing to go into these patterns so that we can regenerate to healthy cells, right? That's going to
Mm-hmm.
feed our brain, that's going to feed our bodies, that's feed our wombs, our groins, everything that our body and environment are encompassing of.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's very important that we're in a constant state of healing, not like with aggression and like constantly like, give me salads or.
Right.
No, that's not the case. It's like with easefulness, can we
Yeah.
invite healing into our body? And so that you're in a constant
Mm-hmm.
state of healing and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like a task. It feels like an honor that you know how to heal yourself.
Right, yeah. And that puts you into that state of ease and makes it
Mm-hmm.
more peaceful and less full of tension. And, I feel like also people put, we like everything to be linear, put a timestamp on it. Like, this is
Right.
going to happen when this is going to happen. Like, I need this to happen now, 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 now. Like, we're conditioned and trained to want everything to happen right now. But if we
Exactly.
just sit back and breathe into it and realize that life is not linear, that things are going to happen here and there and here and there, and it's gonna be like that, kind of like, crazy pattern. If we could just sit with that and accept
Mm-hmm.
that and live in that type of uncertainty, but being certain within ourselves because
Mm-hmm.
we have cultivated this practice of feeling, an ease with life and letting it flow, and just understanding that it's flowing through us and we're just practice that gratitude of being here and being with
Mm-hmm.
it and flow with it instead of trying to stop it or go against it, which is
Yeah,
also where the dis-ease and the disconnect shows up, when you try to stop things and not go with them instead of
exactly.
like just being curious about it and having compassion for yourself and
Mm-hmm.
taking your time. Like, take your damn time, slow
Exactly. There's
down,
no rush.
relax. Yeah, we feel like we need to rush through life. Growing up is like, oh, I just want to grow up and be an adult. And then you're an adult and you're like, this
Wait
sucks.
a minute.
Why did I
Wait
rush
a minute.
myself? Wait, can we take this back? We go
Yeah.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so don't rush. Don't
Exactly.
rush. Slow
Don't
down.
rush to touch.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yes, that song. Another one that I think is really popular, I've been hearing a lot about this in the
Yeah.
past year, is fibroids. I feel like I've never heard the word so much than in the
It's
past
crazy.
year.
Yeah.
Um, so, fibroids, they say, is linked to nursing a hurt from a partner or a blow to the feminine ego.
Mm. No. Yeah.
Thoughts
That
on that? That
I
sounds
have a lot
accurate.
of thoughts on that, and I think that there is accuracy in that for sure. I
Mm.
don't think that is the full totality, but I think that there's
Yeah.
absolutely accuracy in it, and that's what I was talking about earlier, where a person was trying to get pregnant before and couldn't, and then they changed partners and they could with ease. Why? Because they weren't carrying the weight of trauma, disrespect, lack of loyalty, all of these different feelings that are, again, manifesting in the physical.
Mm.
And so we have to be able to connect the two. If we're constantly being cheated on, if we're constantly being disrespected, if we're constantly not trusting of ourselves and our own intuition, right? It has to show
Mm-hmm.
up somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Energy
Mm-hmm.
is never created nor destroyed. So where is that energy going?
Mm.
And so it is oftentimes showing up within the womb.
Mm. Yeah.
And so that's why we're seeing a lot of these cases of fibroids. And if you look back on a lot of the stories, you're going to see a common theme. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily have to be with a man. It could be like with, the distrust and disloyalty of your father, of people who you cared about, of like, uncles or like whomever it
Yeah.
is.
People that are closest to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And when we think
Yeah.
about what a fibroid is a collection of cells that creates a particular tissue that forms into a circular formation that is housed typically like within the womb.
Mm.
So again, these cells are mm, just growing based
Mm-hmm.
on what is being fed.
Yeah. They're paying attention to every single thing that you're doing
Hmm.
and saying and thinking. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that like the larger issue of not being able to listen to our intuition, which we've had multiple discussions on,
Hmm.
and then that will continue to come up because I think because of that, like there's a large disparity and disconnect between us and ourselves, and being able to listen to our intuition and
Yeah.
know what's actually good for our bodies. So we're being told that these things are good for us that are not good for us, right? They're
Hmm.
good for consumerism. They're good for the economy of, the United States,
Pharmaceuticals.
but they're not good for you.
Yeah. I saw something the other day and it is actual and factual. We have a society of people who have been on birth control since they were 14 to, or, 15, 16, however the age, for like acne. And now we have a
Mm,
full society of folks who have fibroids, PCOS, infertility,
mm-hmm.
ovarian cysts. That's not a coincidence.
Right. It's not an
It's not a
accident.
coincidence, nor is it an accident. And these are like things that are known. And people will
Mm-hmm.
gaslight you to make you think that this is like, oh,
A
it's
conspiracy
just a
theory.
conspiracy. It's a coinky dink. No, it's not. You've
Mm,
pumped, all of these bodies up with these chemicals for a extremely long time. And then when they go in to get pregnant, you're like, oops, if you even get a oops. So
right.
that is something
Because
that
they know what they're doing.
100%. So,
Mm,
well, I won't say that the doctors know particularly what is happening. I think maybe the pharmaceutical companies who subsequently like go to the doctors and like pump this into the streets. Um,
mm.
I
I,
think
I
that,
feel like most of them know what they're doing.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I
Mm,
think that they are taught this like mantra of like, this is what you do. You prescribe. Somebody has period cramps to prescribe this medicine.
mm-hmm.
Somebody has this, prescribe this medicine. So oftentimes there's probably not even a thought of like, oh, wait, is this doing anything? And if they do
Mm,
have that thought, they are disconnected from the consequences of it. And so it's
mm-hmm.
just like, Oh, I did hear one time that that was causing PCOS, but I'm just gonna stay in my lane and,
Do
keep
what I'm
up.
used to, do
Good.
what I've been
Do it.
conditioned to
Exactly.
do. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's true. Ooh, like a high-end drug move.
Okay.
All right, uh-huh. But yeah, with fibroids, so the affirmation in that is I release the pattern in me that attracted this experience. I create
Oof.
only good in my life. I like that. I release the pattern in me that attracted this experience. Yeah.
Mm. That's gonna be a tough one for folks because in that becomes responsibility, which is
There
a
was a
tough
pattern
one.
in you
There
that
is
you
a.
don't have to hold on to. You can change up the
Mm-hmm.
pattern. But to
Mm.
change up the pattern, you have to be aware of it and take responsibility for it.
That is actual and factual.
Yeah. People don't like to take responsibility
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
these
yeah.
things. Like it is your experience. So if you're living in these things over and over and over and over again, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just building up and creating these like whether they're physical fibroids or mental, emotional fibroids,
Mm-hmm.
that is what's going to keep happening to you. And until you take responsibility, see now if you're listening to this, you're aware of it. And
Exactly.
then the next part is going to be actually like looking into your life and seeing where this keeps happening and taking responsibility for that and then moving on from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I create only good in my life is the second part,
Mm.
which then that's what you can choose to do from there.
Exactly.
Mm.
Responsibility been an actionable item. Yeah.
Mm. Yes. And then the last one I chose is headache. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people get headaches. I actually had my second headache last month. A second headache in my life last month.
In your
Because I got the
life?
yeah, I don't get headaches. I don't get headaches, which
Wow.
I am so very thankful for, and I hope that
Yeah.
never changes. Um,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is what people go through when they have really bad headaches. I got the
Yeesh.
Omicron when I was in New York,
All right.
and it was just like my head was just tight, and there was this pain, and it was just ugh, ugh, ugh. I was like, I didn't realize how blessed I was until that moment, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I had to give so many thanks for not being a regular occurrence for me.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
but
because your body. Go ahead.
headaches they say is self-criticism and not wanting to accept what's going on.
Mm. Yeah. I can see that from an emotional standpoint. I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it also
Mm-hmm.
could be like nutrient deficiencies.
Yeah, I think with all of these, I mean,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
you
not
could go
like
down.
just
Yeah,
this. Yeah, because there's so many things that are tied into it. Like we said, mind, body, spirit.
exactly.
Healing is not just one thing ever. There's so much that's tied into it.
Yeah.
The nutrition, the way you're moving your body or not moving your body, who you're associated with, like even the people
Mm.
that you're around, your environment, like are you around, mess and a lot of toxic chemical
Yeah.
products, or is your home filled with plants and you try to keep it clean and get fresh air in there, or sage the apartment, or
Hmm.
your space. So a lot of healthy things can be incorporated into affecting this. It's not just going into the emotional aspect of it, but it
Yeah.
is a huge aspect of it.
It's very big. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the affirmation is I love and approve of myself. I
Mm.
see myself and what I do with eyes of love. I am safe.
Mm. That's nice. I
Yeah,
wonder.
I
Oh,
think that's a good overall for like everything all the
it
time.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am safe is important because that's like the foundation. When you look at the chakras that, speaking of like the energy centers within the body, the first one is grounding. That's the
Mm-hmm.
root chakra because in order for you to have any of any of the wonders of the other six chakras,
Mm-hmm.
you have to feel safe. You
And
have
have a
to be
good
grounded. You
foundation.
have to have a really good foundation. Otherwise, it's toppling over. It's like
I don't feel safe.
So
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
intuitive, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah, girl, I've been working on that one. I mean, it's a lifelong process, but I was like, when I first learned about the chakras, I was like, okay, that's where I need to start because that's the one that I
Hmm.
feel like most connected to. and of course, like, your root chakra is where it all begins, like creating that
Mhm.
solid foundation so you can build on that. And of course, they're all interconnected. So really, you could start anywhere, but I feel like that one is a good one because the idea of safety affects so much in our lives and can have us holding on to all these things, like not releasing the old limiting beliefs and not feeling like, you can do anything that you even dream of, and not feeling like you can think outside of the box and be something other than what you're told and what is put in front of you.
Mhm.
So it's like, searching for that safety in other people and in finances and in the outside world, when you need to create that safety within,
Yep.
which I think a lot of people, I mean, I think most of us, like, we don't grow up learning about any of this. So it's like, how do we then start to create that safety within ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can always feel when you're off equilibrium and like when you don't feel safe. Like there are times where I could be like going through life and I just feel very ungrounded. And
Mm-hmm.
so I literally will go into like going in back into the root chakra. So I'm now listening to particular frequencies. Now I'm surrounding myself with red and red foods. Now I'm meditating on the color red and like really going into that. And I say that because the root chakra is connected to the color red, just for those who may not know.
Okay.
And
Good point.
so it's important to everybody is going to have times where they don't feel grounded. If you just move to a new city or you're in a new relationship or a new job or whatever the case may be, it's more so about how do I get back in the case that I find myself unwell, unsafe, ungrounded.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely. All right. So thank you for being here, everyone, and listening to this beautiful, amazing, healing conversation. Like, just being here and hearing all these words, I think is healing enough. But
Yeah.
we definitely want to give you more to step away with and to start incorporating immediately if you haven't. So my thought is we can share three simple wellness practices that people can incorporate into their daily living. Like, they can go and do it like right now, right
Mm-hmm.
after this is done. And I say simple, I'm not going to say easy, because I feel like it's never really easy to do these things and build up this practice, but they are very simple.
Yes.
So just, we'll start there. So three
Yes.
simple ones that you
So
can
three
think of.
simple ones. I will say one, the first one is calling upon our breath, which is our life force, right? This is what is called pranayama in like Sanskrit. And it's really how do we hone in on the oxygen that we're breathing and releasing any toxins that are coming through our breath. And so really just simply sitting, closing your eyes if you can, and inhaling and exhaling. And so you can do that 3 times, 5 times, or until you will feel your cells calm down. Like you will literally feel your body calm down, especially if you practice diaphragmatic breathing, which is when
Mm.
you inhale and expand your stomach and exhale, bringing your stomach to your spine. Funny enough, Janine taught me how to do that. Yeah, that was like
Yay.
2019, which
Yeah.
I talk about that all the time. Every time I teach people how to do that. But
Oh, I love
um,
it. I love it.
mhm. And so that eases the mind and the body almost immediately. And that's something really simple that we can do. It takes like 15 seconds. It doesn't take too much. You can do that, while you're brushing well, maybe not brushing your teeth, but you can do that maybe when you're like on the toilet seat, washing the dishes,
First thing,
picking
as
up
you wake up,
as you wake
before
up,
you physically get out of bed, or when you physically get out of bed and root your feet onto the earth
Yes.
and into the ground, just breathe.
Yeah,
And then, breathe before you go.
that's it. And so that is something that I always encourage everyone to incorporate into their lives.
I
And
love it.
also, in regards to like movement or yoga asana, okay, number two.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I took everything out
Oh,
of me not
let
to
me
do
take
something
this.
inappropriate. But
Now it's in my head.
So with the second thing I would say is simply incorporating a forward fold into your daily practice. So waking
Mm.
up, coming out of the bed, and find your way down to your hands down to your feet, very gently, vertebrae by vertebrae. And so that immediately releases so much tension that we didn't have any idea was stored in the back. And so once
Mm.
you do it, you're like, all of that was in there? And so imagine how much has accumulated over the time that you haven't been moving your back and your vertebrae in such a way. And so
Mm.
if we incorporate that, releasing the tension gives room for our organs to breathe more because our spine is more optimized.
Right. And that's a simple move that
Super
we can all
simple,
do.
literally bending over um, only until yeah, you can try to reach your feet if you can. If you can't, just go to wherever it
Mm.
feels comfortable in your body. Over time, you'll be able to go further
Yeah. And I would
down.
say what feels good with that is bending your knees. So not trying to reach over with your knees straight, just bend your knees a little bit.
Hmm.
Allow your hamstrings to be soft and
Yeah.
just reach over. I love that position.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. It's very, I can literally feel my back releasing.
Yeah, just
Um,
creating space in between the vertebrae.
exactly. And then thirdly,
Vertebra. Vertebrae. Vertebrae.
vertebrae, I think.
Vertebrae. This is the plural. Yeah.
Yes. Vertebrae.
And
Yes, the
the
third
third,
one,
we won't
uh,
get stuck on that.
I think I think the third one could be dance. I think simply, and this is actually perfect with Jenny Jam Fitness because that's what you do. But
Yes.
dancing releases oxytocin. You just feel so wonderful and good. And so you're releasing all this beautiful energy into the world. And so if you're well, then your family is well. If your family is well, then your community is well. If your community is well, then the world is well. And so bringing in and inviting these beautiful moments into your life is not just for you. It's really an offering for everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
so coming out the shower, taking a quick wine,
Yes.
or twerk or Dougie if you're from the South, or, whatever it is, samba, you know, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is that you
A
feel
little
connected.
shimmy, whatever you want to
Yeah, whatever you feel connected to. But I think that that is really a powerful thing. And also, a lot of people don't know is that when you're moving your hips, you're also inviting the energy of the sacral chakra, which is creation, which is sensuality, sexuality, all
do.
of these different points that are just beautiful to invite into our lives. So that is another
Yes.
one that I would love. So those are my three.
Beautiful.
Yes, and
Amazing
you?
three. Great place to
Yes.
start.
What are your
Yeah,
three?
it's I actually pretty much had the same things. The first one for me because I'm going through making mindset moves. I'm gonna go through that again, which incorporates
Oh,
all of these things. I was like, that's so powerful. Like, and one time going through it once wasn't enough, even for me. Just going through all these powerful practices that can literally transform your life, and they're so simple. And you can do them
mhm.
every day, and I do them. If I once I do them in the morning, I'm like, that's it. I'm queen of the world. Like I could do
Okay.
anything. I could do anything. Like throw it
Anything.
at me. Throw it at me. I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to just, keep giving people that information and keep practicing it with them too, because sometimes it's intimidating to just get the information and then not, have that accountability or that support or that community with like to be able to support you in doing that. So I'm
Hmm.
going to go through that again. So look out for
Nice.
that. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my three are breath work
Hmm.
first and foremost, just because, breathing, like you said, this is the breath of life, like
Yeah.
being, giving gratitude for even having this breath, which means you're alive. I won't
Okay.
get too deep into it, but like I want to also do a whole breathwork series.
Yeah.
Breathwork is just it's life transforming. If
Yeah.
you don't do anything else, just
Just breathe
focus on breathwork. Yeah, just breathe, connect
with
with your
intention.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would say conscious
Yes.
breathing will change your life.
Yeah.
Movement, of course, because I'm a
Hmm.
movement guide, so I love movement. So definitely
A
yoga.
movement queen. Okay.
Okay,
Queen
all
of
right.
movements.
That's what
Okay.
I do. What
You
I
do it.
do.
You
What
do
I
it. You
do.
do it well.
Thank you. Yes, yes. So movement, of course, dance, yoga, capoeira,
Yeah.
like anything you want to do, anything that feels good. Our bodies are made to move. We're not made to be locked inside, sitting down, staring at the computer. I mean, this is okay, but if you're sitting here and you watch the whole thing, like get up and move after this.
Yes.
Okay. So movement and then proper nutrition, like
Hmm.
feeding your body things that are good for you, and not only in terms of food, but in terms of like vitamins and minerals and herbs and words, what you're taking in, what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're writing, what you're, what you're taking in, just being conscious of that.
Yeah.
So
Feeding your
proper,
body life is
yeah,
really the intention and the goal. That sums
yeah,
up pretty much everything. It's
that's
like
all of it.
feed your body life
I
and you
write
will
that
be
down.
well.
Feed your body life.
We consume a lot of dead things, dead thoughts, dead frequencies in regards to music, dead food, right?
Stop
That's
beating
not
a dead
how,
horse.
yeah, why, how is death going to bring us life? That's my
It's not.
question.
That's a
Nah,
good question.
nah.
That's a great question.
Hmm.
So philosophical. Ponder that, people. Ponder that. But thank you all for being here and listening to this beautiful conversation. Thank you to Desiree for your
Thank you.
presence
Thank
and for
you.
showing up with all this information that is just going to be transforming our lives and our communities and the world. Yeah, this was amazing. Thank
It
you.
was. I can't wait
I'm
till the
glad we
next
did this.
one next week, same time, same
Yes,
place.
yes, yes. Next week we'll
This
get
was,
into natural remedies and
yes.
the chakra and what we can do, more of what we can do and practices we can integrate.
Yeah, I love that. And this was a very exciting, loving, and easeful conversation. Janine and I are friends in real life. And so just bringing both of our huge sets of knowledge together is we are forced together. So
Yes, I love it. I love it. This is our little dance off. We're just gonna dance ourselves out. I love it. I love it. Wishing you
yes,
all healing and peace and love and joy and
yes.
ease. Just relax, relax, and
Hmm.
breathe. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
And
all I
feed
got.
your body life.
Yes. Feed your body life. Thank you guys. Thank you, Des.
Thank you,
See you
love.
guys next time. So next week, same time, right
Yes.
here. We'll do
Yes.
this again. Part 2.
Part two.
Bye.
Bye.